902-482-9748. Dentistry for You. Are you a new immigrant? Do you know about kids' dental coverage under MSI program? Talk to us at Dentistry for You at 902-435-4848 or email info@dentistryforyou.life or visit them at 133 Baker Drive, Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. For your complete family dental care open 6 days a week, late evenings, and weekends, visit Dentistry for You. This is your YMCA Peace Medal awardee for 2019. East Coast Filipino Portal welcomes you to your Friday live stream habit. This live stream is powered by YouFind Social Wi-Fi. For your social media marketing needs, contact Joey Moreno at 902-440-8304. Primerica. To efficiently and effectively utilize RESP, RRSP, and life insurance, contact Donny Cabad at 902-292-1368 with Primerica. Mortgage Alliance. If you would like to know how you can get that down payment for your first home, or you would like to know better strategy to pay off your mortgage sooner, contact Donny Cabad at diabad@mortgagealliance.com. Four Pillars, courtesy of David Mofat. Are you struggling with debt? Is it causing you stress? If so, reach out to David Mofat at Four Pillars. Four Pillars will work for you and not for creditors. Four Pillars will eliminate your debt as quickly as possible and reduce your stress. Call 902-482-9748.
Everybody could use vegetables and stuff, and it's like it's Christmas time that I would message you and so it's just like I said, when new people come, it's nice to welcome them and make them feel like that they have friends, because I know it's hard when you move to a new place and you don't know anyone, or you might know a couple people, but big change, right? It's cold here and
it's kind of crazy. On the first day, we asked for the snow because Canada, there's lots of snow, and he's like, "Where's the snow?" I said, "Please don't look for trouble." And then when he got that on his first day in the valley, he was like, "I think I'm done after the
exactly. You think you want it until you feel the cold. No, I mean it's pretty, but it's just it's cold.
From our end, we're overwhelmed because it's nice to know that at least from the local community understands that experience of being a newcomer, and not just understanding, but being able to respond to. Hey, join us. And not just understanding, but responding to what they feel, their experience, and all that, and being able to give back as well. So that's a great thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's alright. Canada's made up with with people from all over the world, and it's just nice to have them be welcomed and meet new friends and
exactly. Yeah. Awesome. You got lots of customers. What time do you open though?
At 9.
9 o'clock. Oh,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
but I'm sure early and people sometimes come. If they see a car in the driveway, they come early anyway. But yeah.
Summer. You love winter?
Yeah, exactly.
You love summer or winter more? Which one do you love more?
Which one do you love more?
Neither. Did
You like summer? You say summer?
How old are you?
How old are you?
You're so cute. So you guys live around Fall River?
We live in Beaverbank.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so it's when we moved there, it was kind of easier on me, but her and my husband, because he has to travel back and forth. But in the wintertime, he doesn't have to go to the valley as often. But we just found there's a little bit more for kids to do around HRM.
Yeah.
So in the valley is great in the summertime.
Yeah.
But we just found like he goes to art class, and Gabriel goes, and Isaiah goes to hockey and all that. So when you're in the valley, you have to travel all the time, like driving. So anyway, it's so we're closer, but yeah.
Just wondering, are you guys originally from Nova Scotia or?
Yeah,
I
actually grew up in Sackville.
That's amazing.
But Jason, my husband grew up in the valley, in Halls Harbor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought that you guys also are immigrants to Canada, but you are originally from here, and it's nice to know that locals appreciate what we do, and you're responding to it as well. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate the effort. You wake up early and prepare all the boxes.
Say Merry Christmas.
Say Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
So cute. Yeah.
See, that's so exciting. You guys look out the side?
Sure.
Yeah.
I just love giving them.
Sorry.
This for Coach. Oh, thank you. See, you want to give a message to the newcomers?
Yes, welcome and Merry Christmas. And we hope you love Canada. And welcome, friends. You say welcome. Welcome.
All right, thanks so much, Maria Pilar.
Sorry.
You want to go with us to deliver, or you want us to deliver and just send you pictures later in the video?
It was the night before Christmas. I was closing down for business in my little present shop, when the bell on the door jingled once more, and then time almost came to a stop. But somehow I knew, and maybe so did you, that everything would change from now on. Yes, from this Christmas on, this Christmas on. From this Christmas on, it's
Merry Christmas. Nay, nag-attack. Tim and AJ, where are we going? Oh, Abrams wants to join. Oh, what are we going to do, Tim?
We're going to deliver the ready boxes.
Oh, very good. Are you gonna help, Brahms? Okay.
got what you came for, and in the coffee shop just next door, we talk for hours on end, and somehow we knew that we'd found something true, and that everything would change from now on. Yes, from this Christmas on, this
naman sa Pilipinas. Babayaran ko lahat ng mga obligations ko din sa Pilipinas. Nakakuha na rin ako ng sarili kong sasakyan dito. At nakakaipon na rin kahit papaano. So, maraming salamat po. At happy holidays everyone. Thank you.
Hi mga kabayan, kamusta kayo? Kami nga pala ang Cruz family. Ako si Chad.
Ako po si Calix.
Ako po si Laika.
We're from Pulilan, Bulacan. So, ngayon nakabase na kami dito sa probinsya ng Nova Scotia.
Nag-start kaming hanap ng employer since 2017. And then after 2 months ng araw-araw na pagsisend ng resume sa mga employers dito sa Canada, nagkaroon ng employer si Chad na nabigyan kami ng chance na makapag-apply sa Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. And then, hindi naging madali yung proseso ng pag-aasikaso ng visa namin dahil twice kaming na-denied sa visa namin. Kaming dalawa ni Calix. And then, we decided na si Chad mauna na siya dito sa Canada habang nag-aantay kami ng PR namin. And then, after 4 months, we got our PR. And then, dumating kami ditong dalawa ni Calix ng June. And then, andito na kami ngayon. Nag-start na ng panibagong buhay dito sa Canada.
So, yung application namin, wala kaming agency. Nag-DIY application lang kami. So, sa mga kababayan natin dyan na gusto rin na mag-settle sa Canada. So, maraming paraan. Kailangan lang ng maraming tiyaga at dasal. So,
Merry Christmas po and Happy New Year. Bye!
bye!
Hi guys, my name is Hardy.
And my name is Sarah.
And we just want to share with you guys how grateful we are with all the blessings that we received this 2019. Yeah, because back in the Philippines, we both work in a BPO company. And we also try to put up a business. And prior to that, we also worked in Saudi Arabia. Me as a document controller and payroll master for 8 years.
And me as a licensed nurse for 6 years.
So, like every Filipino, one of our dream is to work here in Canada. And there's a lot of hardships and sacrifices along with the process. So, we started our application in November 2018 and blessedly got our approval last June 2019 under the study program processed by the Canadian Immigration Consultancy, which is CIC.
Truly, we are blessed because my husband has been granted of an open work permit. And hopefully within 2 years, we could be able to apply for our permanent residence for us to be able to bring our daughter here as well.
So we hope, guys, that our short story will also inspire you. And let's all welcome all the blessings this coming 2020. Bye for now, guys.
And for me, it's not only a blessing, but such a honor and prestige to become a member of East Coast Filipino Portal, in which its main intent is to help our kababayans here in Nova Scotia. And I'm also very proud and so blessed to launch my digital business and my resto and pub this year. And I'm looking forward to be more successful in 2020 so that I can help more people, especially my family, loved ones, and friends. This is me, Jacqueline Molto, your East Coast Filipino Portal correspondent for Cape Breton, wishing you all a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
They say that gratefulness attracts more things to be grateful for. The more thankful you are, the more blessings you will receive. What about you? What are you grateful for 2019? And what are you looking forward for 2020? Here are some of the thoughts of our fellow Filipinos here in Dieppe, New Brunswick, Canada. This is Angie Villanueva from Fraser YouTube channel, reporting here in Dieppe, New Brunswick, Canada. Your East Coast Filipino Portal correspondent, wishing you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2020.
There are lots of things I'm grateful for in 2019. The top two are first, the addition of a beautiful baby girl in our family, and second, our Canada immigrant family life. This Christmas, I wish each and every family will have true happiness and unconditional love, which is the very essence of our Savior's birth. Merry Christmas, everyone!
I am grateful for all the success that we are experiencing in terms of given the opportunity to move to another country, to land into the fields of career that we have in our home country. I am also grateful for all the friends that I have here and in my home country, my families and friends, good health. I am very grateful that in every waking day that I am given the chance to live again and live by God's purpose. And at the same time, have my family by my side, despite trials, despite hurdles, that we are all strong together as one. Pray for my family's health. I pray for abundance. I also pray for the world that we're living in, because our world is suffering, that at least it can recover from all the damages that the humanity has been done. So that's what I've been praying for this Christmas. And for people who have no families, who are homeless, who are in need of love, those who have lost and are mourning, I pray for them. Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas sa lahat ng Pinoy sa mundo, sa lahat ng gustong pumunta ng Canada, sa Pinoy sa Pilipinas. Maligayang Pasko sa inyo at sana makakuha nyo yung gusto nyo, yung pangarap nyo makapunta rin sa Canada gaya namin, nakapunta na. So sana ay makuha nyo rin yan sa darating na bagong taon. Yan, Merry Christmas sa inyo, maligayang Pasko.
For this year, my family and I are very thankful for the good health, for the financial blessings, and for the stable career and the love from friends and families. And for this Christmas, they be able to experience and find the true meaning of Christmas. Thank you and Merry Christmas, everyone.
What I'm grateful for this year is that I finally landed in Canada together with my family after 11 years of working in Singapore. And my wish for this coming year is that, of course, that's what usual parents would ask for their family, which is good health and long life for my family. Merry Christmas!
2019 is really a good year for us. Maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga blessings, sa mga taong na-meet namin at the same time sa mga taong tumutulong sa amin. Thank you God for all the blessings that we receive, for good health, good career, and protection. So we're looking forward for 2020 and more blessings to come. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year!
Good afternoon, everyone. We're here with Mayor Savage of HRM. He's going to share with us with some of the things that is going on in Halifax and share more information in terms of what do we see Halifax like in 2 years' time and what are the programs that are in place to further attract the growth of Halifax. So, Al?
Awesome. So thanks so much for this opportunity, Mayor Savage.
Welcome to City Hall. Nice to have you guys here. And congratulations on your award, winning the YMCA Peace Medal.
Thanks again. You have a very beautiful building. And as we all know, Halifax is growing towards that direction, having more infrastructure, having more buildings, creating more jobs. What's really the highlight? Because we know that you are nearing towards your end as a mayor, but we don't know if you're running again or whatnot. But what are the highlights of your success as a mayor since 2012 until next year?
The growth of Halifax. So when I was elected mayor, the city really wasn't growing very much. We didn't have a lot of development in the downtown. We sprawled out, and that's okay. But we wanted to densify the core of the city, and it was really about bringing people here. And we've had 3 consecutive record years of growth.
Wow.
And it's about bringing people, and most of that growth is from outside of Canada. So we're not just taking people from other communities in Nova Scotia. We're bringing people from the Philippines, from the Middle East, from Europe, from the Far East, and that's good for us. Immigrants bring, some of them bring money, some of them just bring hard work and a dedication to building a community.
Yes.
And so the highlight for me has been that population growth, and particularly among younger people. A lot of people would come to Halifax for school, go away to work, and come back to retire. And listen, I'm an old man myself, so I get that, but I want a place where my kids can live. And I'm delighted that my daughter's graduated university and is working here.
Nice.
My son's away at university, and he wants to come back and live here too, and that wasn't always the case.
Wow, that's great. So you've mentioned that there is a rise of population immigration, because it's one of your #1 target in increasing economy, to increase immigration, and then that will follow the increase of economy. But in between, how are you, because there's a lot of questions that were posted and some were private message. The main topic or the main tone is that gearing towards jobs. So how has your administration been helpful in terms of making sure that the increase of population, increase of immigration is also commensurate with jobs creation?
That's a good question, because there was a time when even when we had a little bit of an increase in population, the total number of those employed wasn't really going up, but it has now. And so we work with our other governmental partners. The city doesn't, go out and give money to companies to come to Halifax. What we try to do is create a business environment where people want to invest. I take the message on the road. I go speak at places. I've been to Toronto, Vancouver, going to Boston this week with the Tree. We'll talk to business organizations when we're there. I've been to Houston. I've been to China, where we have a sister city now. So I travel with the message of Halifax. So we work with other orders of government, with Nova Scotia Business Inc. We have the Halifax Partnership, which is an awesome organization that has really had a focus through the Connector program on helping people who are new to the area find work. So we do some very specific things, but generally we try to run a city that's financially responsible, that is cutting red tape and bureaucracy, and becoming a place where people want to set their businesses up, and that's really been very successful.
Yeah, I agree. I actually volunteer for Halifax Connector program. I was one of the 2016, 2017 finalists for their Connector program.
Oh gosh, that's great. Yeah.
It's really, for me, it's really impactful. Helping people find jobs.
They've done a great job with that.
Yeah.
One other thing we did do here, which was important, you can't see the camera shot, but there's a lady over here who works with me named Jessica. And Jessica came to the city through a program that we started just shortly after I became mayor, where we started hiring 18 to 20 young people right out of university, because what we heard back then was that kids came out of school, they couldn't get a job without experience, and they can't get experience without a job. So we started hiring young people directly and specifically out of university and college, and put them into our departments, into finance, communications, and not so that they'd stay with us, but so they would get experience and go and get a job. But some of them were so good, like Jessica, and some others, that we just didn't want to let them go.
Awesome. You mentioned about employees staying here in Halifax. So what's the percentage of or the ratio between the population or immigration against retention?
That's a great question. This is Halifax. This is the home of Pier 21, where for 50 years, so many of the people who came to Canada set foot on Halifax before any place else, but they didn't stay. They went to Montreal, Toronto, Calgary, Vancouver. And so that we've had people come to Halifax, but they didn't stay. And it wasn't very long ago that we were not retaining very many. Now our retention numbers are well north of 70%. So people who are coming here, and it's all about an opportunity. So I think Halifax is a nice city to live. It's a nice quality of life, but you got to be able to feed your family.
Absolutely, yeah.
So now with the surge in IT, with the shipbuilding contract, with finance companies and RBC and IBM choosing Halifax as their Halifax headquarters for back office, it's created opportunities. That's the key is how do you get good companies, large, small, medium-sized companies, to come to this place, find a sweet spot for themselves. And I think part of it is, that we're more affordable than Toronto, Vancouver, and some other cities.
Definitely, yeah.
And we have great talent.
Yes.
And I think people like the community. And most people can't come out of university and pay $2,500 a month for an apartment, right?
Yeah.
So there's got to be options as well.
It's true. Just to add to what you're saying, I know I used to work for hedge funds administration company. A lot of hedge funds company had moved here from Bermuda, from Cayman.
Right.
So MUFG, Citco I know is a big contingency in here.
Yeah.
Maitland, Opus it's new, recently moved here in SSNC. So I'm really happy with how HRM and Nova Scotia have been doing well in bringing business in Halifax.
So thank you for that. One of the keys is everybody working together, right? So the Halifax Partnership, Nova Scotia Business Inc., the Atlantic Canada Opportunities Agency, the Chamber of Commerce, the political folks all working together and promoting Halifax as a place to do business. And so often if NSBI, Nova Scotia Business Inc. are courting a company, they'll bring them in to see me, or I'll go over to see them. And we all work together on letting people know that this is a community where they could do very well.
Yes.
Another question online, because there's a lot of good companies coming into Halifax, and there are also some small medium enterprises and up and coming businesses. So how has the government, being led by you, you guys have been doing to protect and to increase the benefits for their employees? Because that's one of the questions that was posted.
So we don't have a lot of direct levers to say to people, come to Halifax, we'll pay you so much per employee. But when they're looking to come to Halifax, we'll sit down with them first of all. And a lot of this is done with the Halifax Partnership to sort of do a market survey with them and say, this is the kind of workforce. Because everywhere you go now, the most important thing is finding talent.
Yes.
People need talent. So the partnership works with them on that. And as I say, the really only involvement that we can have as a city is making sure, first of all, that we're investing in public realm infrastructure so that we're building a city that people want to live. We're not far from Argyle Street, where we have a beautiful sort of pedestrian walkway that we didn't have a few years ago. So we invest in areas like that. We won an award from the Canadian Federation of Independent Business for cutting red tape, so that businesses, when they come here, they have a better chance of getting through that government bureaucracy. And then, we'll for immigrants, I believe personally that immigrants bring a lot, even if they don't have money. They come with a desire to contribute to their new country. And so we've helped new immigrants directly, working with Jennifer Watts at iSands, with the Y and others, just to set up some specific programs for new Canadians, because we believe that they contribute a lot. And as a city, we have voted to allow permanent residents to vote in our municipal elections.
Okay.
We need the province to agree to it. We can't do it until they agree to it. But I'm not saying people will come here just to be able to vote, but it is a sort of a way of us saying to them, we know what you contribute to this city. We want you to have a say in it as well.
I have a question for that, but before I'm gonna go with that aspect, I want to go back to you mentioning about immigrants' hopes and their hard work that they bring into Halifax. I want to take this conversation back when you were growing up with an immigrant family, especially with your parents. So how has that evolved in terms of the challenges from back then based on your parents' stories and up to now? What are the differences and similarities, or we have improved, but we want to hear it from you.
So I'm very careful about my immigrant experience because I came here from the UK. I was born in Belfast. My father was a doctor. Actually, we came directly from Wales, where he had practiced most recently. But we looked like everybody else. I was an incredibly cute kid, but I looked like everybody else, and I spoke English. I didn't have the challenges, So I don't think that it would be reasonable for me to say I understand what it's like to be an immigrant from Syria maybe whose family was the victim of unspeakable horrors there, and poverty and lack of opportunity in a land that has been the subject of military conflict for generations. Because I'm an immigrant, I can't identify with that any more than really anybody else. I'm sure that as a kid there were some people when I was very young who would make fun, but it was very, very minor. I think we all have to be able to say, whatever our background, that first of all we have a basic humanity and a belief that we're all equal and entitled to dignity, or we don't, and I believe that we do. Some of the hardest working people I know are folks who work in City Hall cleaning this building, and they're Filipino, and you know, we love them all. They're incredible people, and I know some of them have worked like crazy to send money back home and have gone a long time without seeing their families, but they're so happy to be in Canada, and you know, I call them the hardest working people in show business. And so people who come, you know, whatever their experience, you know, what I want to do as the mayor, and I got to say the provincial government, Minister Diab, Premier McNeil, like these people, we all believe in the fact that everybody has a role to play in this Halifax and in this Nova Scotia. And if you look outside the windows of my City Hall, you see buildings that are mostly built by first or second generation immigrants, you know, Lebanese and Greek and you know, Iranian and Iraqi, people who came here. A lot of them came with very little, and they're doing well, and they're hiring other people, and that's the spirit of immigrants who come to this country. And I, you know, when I look at what's happening in the United States, I say, you know, thank God we live in Canada. I like the way we look at immigrants.
Yeah. Awesome. So let's go back. Let's go to that election thing. Like, you know, so what's going to be the difference between a citizen and a permanent resident in terms of their voting capacity? Is there a difference, or?
Well, right now you can't vote unless you're a citizen, and you have to live here, I think, for 6 months. And there's rules federally and provincially. So, you know what? If everybody had the opportunity to be a citizen within 3 years of coming to Canada, that's fine, but they don't. As some of you might know, it takes a long time and a lot of paper. I used to be a member of Parliament. I used to deal with this. And there's a lot of people who wait a long time to become a citizen. But their kids are in school. You know, a lot of them own businesses. You know, the kids are playing soccer. They're contributing their volunteer time. They're doing things. And I think that, you know, that they should be able to vote in a municipal election. I think they should have an opportunity to vote in other elections. That's not my call. But as a mayor, I think they should have the right to vote. The turnout at municipal elections is low. It's less than 40%, and the last election was closer to 30%. So it's not like everybody who's here takes advantage of the right to vote. That's their call. I'm not arguing that. I think you would find that a lot of new Canadians would be honored and proud to vote and would take it very seriously. So I'd like to see permanent residents voting in a municipal election, and as a council we voted for that. And hopefully the province will agree, because I know that the province is equally committed to immigrants and the beliefs and aspirations of new Canadians.
We know Mr. Whitman already mentioned that he's running for 2020. So what's your call on that? Are you running for 2020, or is it the perfect time to talk about it?
I don't believe that running for mayor of Halifax is as complicated as running for president of the United States. So I don't think you need to be out a year in advance. I got elected for 4 years. I want to govern for most of that before I start thinking about campaigning again. But having said that, I will let people know, because I know there are some really good people who would be interested in running for mayor if I don't run. And I'm thinking about it. I may well decide. There's a good chance I may run for mayor. I like the work. I enjoy the people. I just don't want it to be a year-long campaign. And but I know I owe it to people to let them know what I intend to do. So we'll do that early in the new year.
Just something about you, Mayor. What are the highlights of your career as a mayor so far? What are the things that stood out? If someone would ask you, what did you like most, or what impact did you had most while you were the mayor of Halifax?
Well, like most people, I'm not comfortable talking about myself and saying things that I think are good, but since you asked, I think that what the city needed in 2012 was a change in attitude, and to reach higher. We have a lot of great advantages as a city. Harbors are not easy things to build if you don't have one. We got one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
We've got wonderful world-class universities. We've got beautiful natural surroundings. We're well positioned. People thought it was a disadvantage to be hanging out on the east coast of Canada, but we're finding, from a time zone point of view, we're well situated between Europe and the west coast of the U.S. and other places. So I think we had a lot of things going for us that we really didn't take advantage of. So my goal as mayor was to raise people's ambition and to increase the population and to increase the GDP of this city, but also to have more opportunities for more people. And I called it in 2012 that I wanted this city to be more livable, more entrepreneurial, and more inclusive. And I think in each of those areas we've made strides. We're not only building this part of the city and completing really good communities outside of the core, but we're investing in protection of our natural surroundings. We're buying land to protect it. We've set up a department within the city called Diversity and Inclusion, which is doing some great work with immigrants, with our African Nova Scotian population who've been the victim of systemic discrimination, our First Nations population, which isn't as large as some cities, but is really important, and particularly the Mi'kmaq people who've been here so long, working with them, even our Acadian Francophone population, we've taken some great strides with that, and people with disabilities. There's a lot of people here in our community that have a form of what we would call a disability who have a lot to contribute. So I'm proud of the fact that as we get bigger, I think we also get better. That's what I want to do as mayor.
Yeah. And I also have another question here from someone from our viewers. What is the city's plan for a competitive Halifax in 2030 in terms of wealth per capita, jobs, and economy impact in the region?
Well, we have an economic plan that we adopted working with the Halifax Partnership. And in 2016, our population was 418,000. And our goal was by 2031 that we want to be 550,000.
Wow.
And by 2031, we want a GDP of $30 billion. We were at about 18 billion. And we've moved up since then. Our population has grown by probably 15,000 people just in the last 2.5 years, 20,000 in the last 3 years, and our GDP has grown. So we do have a very specific plan for 2030, and it's all outlined. And in fact, if people want to look at it, go to the Halifax Partnership website, have a look at that plan. It talks about how we're going to get there. We've got to be more competitive. We've got to cut red tape. We need to bring more students here, and we need to keep them after university. We need to invest in certain sectors, and in others we need to support those who are doing well. We have targets now for housing. We have targets in transit. And so we have pretty good measurables, and that's really sort of the Bible that I go by, is those things to hit our targets. And if we do that as a city, we'll do well and have more opportunities for more people.
That's awesome. And then for us, the people in the community, what's the best way for us to be able to contribute to the growth and further progress of Halifax as an individual, as a community, and as a group?
Okay. So number one, do what you're doing, which is choosing Halifax and finding a job, recognizing, sometimes it takes a bit of time, but you find a job, you work hard. That's number one. For me, the key is to become part of the community, to volunteer, to give back a bit of time. And that also helps quite often with your business or with your life or with your children. That's all you can really ask of people, is to do well for themselves, but also to do well for the community. And if you do that, I think we all grow together.
Awesome. Amazing. We're quite serious with our topics. Let me just go a little lighter. You've been through a lot of communities as a mayor since 2012 until now. If you're gonna come up with a menu and pick up some stuff from around different immigrant communities, what would you recommend?
From different immigrant communities?
Yes.
You mean like what would I take from each immigrant community? Oh my
You'll
gosh.
come up with like one full menu.
Well, I'm
you
not.
need a dessert. You need a starter.
I'm not gonna say I want the Philippine community for this and the Lebanese for this. What I'm gonna say is that I think when I brought forward the motion, which I did personally to council, that permanent residents should vote, I had somebody call me and they said, I don't support that because my son can't get a job, and why do you bring these people in who could take a job he might get? And I said, the people who come to Canada are more likely to create a job for your son than the people who were born here. And that's what studies tell us. So I think that's what we get from immigrant communities. I mean, you can't tell it by looking at me, but I like different kinds of food. So I love that stuff. I love to go and I love to see the dances, and I love to see the culture, and I love to see the traditions. I love the fact, for me, for example, that this is December. This is a very sacred time of year for those of us who are in the Christian faith. And I love the fact that I can say Merry Christmas, that I don't have to say Happy Holidays. I don't go to Diwali, or I don't go to, a Ramadan event, or I don't go to Hanukkah, or I don't go to other cultures and say Happy Holidays. I say, Happy Hanukkah, or I say Eid, or I say Diwali. I think that the fact that here in Canada, as much as any place on earth, I think, we all celebrate our own traditions and cultures. And we respect everybody else's culture while we celebrate our own. I think that's important.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Going back to your role as a mayor, what's a typical day like for you?
Usually
for you, but like you still allowed us to come here, and have this interview. What's a typical day like for a mayor? Do you wake up early? Because I know when I came here, it's not that I was surprised. Most of the locals sleep at 7 o'clock. Is it the same time with you, or?
I get up early. I always have since I've been in business. I used to be in business. I ran an oil company, and then I was at Nova Scotia Power and search company, and then as a member of Parliament. I've always gotten up early, and one of the reasons was I was hired as a pretty young guy to run an oil company. About 100 people, guys that deliver fuel and do the servicing. And the first day I came to work, I showed up at about 8 o'clock, and all the service delivery personnel had come and gone, and the oil guys had gone. And so the next morning I came in at 7, and pretty much since then, and that was when I was 25 years old, I try to be at work shortly after 7 in the morning. That's my time. And so I don't sleep in. Even on the weekends, I don't really sleep in. Although I'm not opposed to having a nap now and then. I get it. And so it's hard to say a normal day. But most nights there's events. So you work your day, and there's 1 or 2, sometimes 3 events. Jessica's with me. She knows what it's like. You go from an event to an event quite often. It's a privilege. The thing about being mayor is if you don't like people, then do something else. Because you meet people all day long. So if you like people, then you're energized.
Yes.
It doesn't mean at the end of the day that you're not kind of tired and you get home and think, holy cow, fall asleep in a chair. But during the day, you're energized by that interaction with people. So there isn't really an average day, but I'm in here certainly by 7:30, I would say, every day. You see my car out there, and you go into the evening, and that's the nature of the job.
So, Mayor, we have a lot of viewers that are...
And weekends, of course. We don't get weekends off.
No weekends off?
Not very often.
24/7,
so
all week.
We have a lot of viewers and supporters that are newcomers or people that are planning on moving to Canada. What would you say would be key factors that people should consider for them to be successful and thriving here in Halifax in terms of their profession, their business?
Yeah. I would say take a chance on Halifax, first of all.
Give it a try.
Trust the people. People here are very good. I think we've always been a welcoming people, but I think in the last number of years, the Syrian refugee crisis, even though there's always a refugee crisis somewhere, has opened people even more to the importance of immigrants. You know, families, churches, organizations welcomed people. So my advice is, don't come to Halifax expecting that you'll change who you are. Come here and change who we are together, collectively, for the better. We don't want people to give up their culture, their tradition, their religion, their food, their customs. We don't want that. There are places in the world that are more melting pot-like, where you come and you fit in. On the other hand, obviously respect the traditions of the country. We're a very open country, and we're the country where the Prime Minister went out on the runway to greet families from Syria who didn't come with very much. And I think that represented how Canadians felt. So don't change who you are, but understand that there are some traditions here that matter to us as well, and join them. So, one of the favorite things as a mayor, and Jesse can tell you, is to go to the mosques and to the synagogues and to the churches and to the community halls, and to see people celebrate their religion, enjoy their families, really extolling the benefits of their traditions, all of which makes for a better city. And everywhere that I go, I'm very welcomed by people, and I really enjoy getting out to see people.
And the food too, right?
I like a bit of the food.
So you mentioned about Halifax being better with the whole time that you're still a mayor. How has this leadership changed you from 2012 or before you went into becoming a mayor to this present time? Has it changed you? Has it made you better as well? In what aspect?
Well,
or is this a question for the family?
No, it sounds more like a question for a psychologist. I think every job that you do, you learn something new. If you don't learn something new, then you're wasting your time. I would say that I had no idea when I ran for mayor how busy the job was. I knew it was. I used to be a member of parliament. That's pretty busy.
For Cole Harbour.
Dartmouth, Cole Harbour, yeah. But as a mayor, you're invited to so many more things. I mean, every week I go through stacks of invitations, and you can't get to everything. And so I think it certainly exposes you to so many things culturally, but also we do something called the Mayor's Celebrate Business, where we go out to existing businesses and talk about their business and, and find out what's working for them, what isn't. Is there something as a city we can do? So you're learning all the time, and I think I have a great respect for my fellow councillors on council, all of whom work very hard and all of whom have to study the material, all of whom know their communities intimately. The difference between a mayor and a councillor is that a councillor, has 1/16 of the district, so they can really, a good councillor really gets in and knows everything in their district. As a mayor, you get more of a general knowledge of the city, and you have to, as mayor as well, focus not just on the potholes and cutting the grass and who gets to the recreation center, but I try to focus on the big issues, which are economic development, immigration, health, transportation, the big issues. Environment is in my mind all the time. How can we do things better? So I would say as mayor, the difference is the learning. Hopefully you get a bit more experience, and with that a little bit more wisdom, but that's not for me to say.
Awesome.
I think all the questions that we had from online had already been asked.
I still have one last question.
All right.
So I came here 2011,
Yep.
Just in time for my son's birth. And then 2012 you became mayor, and I saw that your first target to increase economy is to really increase immigration. That's number one. That's what I saw. So what do you think were the changes that you have seen for those families for that span of year that you have become a mayor? Or for the individual?
So the communities have gotten bigger. It's very, if somebody comes here from any part of the world to Canada, they would naturally want to go to a part of the country where there are other people from their country.
Yeah.
You're comfortable. That's what I would do if I went to anywhere else. what we're finding now is that we're building bigger communities, and people are more comfortable not only in their own community, but they're recognizing that they have a role to play in the broader community. Programs like this that you're doing here today are bringing Halifax to people to whom it's very new. That didn't exist a number of years ago. There wasn't very many opportunities to connect with new Canadians or potentially new Canadians. So these kinds of channels of getting to people is really, really important. And I really thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part of it today.
Thank you for having us here. It's really an honor for us to be here and having the time with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we know that you're busy as a mayor and you have lots of invites, but to be considered to come here and have this interview, it's really an honor. I never had a chance to talk to a mayor, even back in the Philippines, never. But this is really one humbling experience for me and for East Coast Filipino Portal.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here, and I just want to say, look, it is a busy job, but you guys have busy jobs. The whole world is busy. I don't want people to think that the mayor is complaining about his schedule, because you pick and choose what you do. And for me personally, I take great delight in meeting people like yourselves that share a love of Halifax, a desire for your family and your community to be bigger and to be stronger. And I'm very delighted to have the chance to be with you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And to everybody who's watching.
Yeah, Joey and of course Koji, they're part of the team.
They're working hard, these two.
Yeah.
Very much.
Thank you all very much.
Awesome. Thanks to Kelly and Jessica and the rest of the team as well. Thanks so much. And Sean. This is your YMCA Peace Medal awardee for 2019. East Coast Filipino Portal welcomes you to your Friday live stream habit. This live stream is powered by YouFind Social Wi-Fi. For your social media marketing needs, contact Joey Moreno at 902-440-8304. Primerica, to efficiently and effectively utilize RESP, RRSP, and life insurance, contact Donnie Cabad at 902-292-1368 with Primerica. Mortgage Alliance, if you would like to know how you can get that down payment for your first home, or you would like to know better strategy to pay off your mortgage sooner, contact Donnie Cabad at diabad@mortgagealliance.com. 4 Pillars, courtesy of David Mofat. Are you struggling with debt? Is it causing you stress? If so, reach out to David Mofat at 4 Pillars. 4 Pillars will work for you and not for creditors. 4 Pillars will eliminate your debt as quickly as possible and reduce your stress. Call 902-482-9748.